The air brakes are kind of a response to NASA's challenge to hit a very precise altitude. You know, when I try and introduce like what is NASA student launch to people, like what is the goal of it, a lot of people think that it's who can get the highest, but that's actually not the case. The case is that we're trying to hit a very specific altitude, and the air brakes will help us do that by shaving off extra altitude that we don't need so that we can hit that precise altitude exactly where we want it.
I think what was really special about what we did over the summer is we took this preliminary idea that we had. We went through the design, the manufacturing, the integration, and the testing, all in the span of a summer, so just 2 months.
So overseeing the entire summer's air brake project was a bit of a challenge. The reason I say that is if we didn't calculate something or didn't analyze a certain aspect of it before we flew this entirely new rocket with this entirely new system, then we might be realizing that we're taking on a challenge that could very well sink our next season.
Our main electrical lead, Ben, he ended up going to his internship. So he ended up letting me know that I should look over the project while he's gone away, and it's kind of crazy because I have I didn't even know what ground and voltage were. So it was definitely difficult at the beginning, but we would make progress every night, and which was key because it let me know more about the system. I got more comfortable around it, and just learned a lot.
I think the biggest challenge with designing the air brakes, at least initially, was that we had never really done anything like that before. We hadn't done any control surfaces on the rocket, and there were a lot of uncertainties with what questions about flow over the fins, would that turbulent air mess with the stability of the rocket. There were a lot of design challenges in the control scheme about exactly how much and when do you need to do this braking in order to hit this precise altitude.
So the first launch we did in the summer was a control launch, and it was basically just a test launch of the rocket we built without any air braking. And the second launch, we tested the air brakes, and the apogee of our rocket was 29 feet from our target altitude that we set for it. But that was only one launch, so we really wanted to test the system again and see if it could repeat the results that we gained from that launch.
So it is roughly 3 a.m. right now, and we are getting ready to leave for Memphis, Tennessee for the third flight of the Predator 1 and the second, I guess, 2.5 flight of the air brakes. Our electrical wizard, Ben, over here, is exhausted, but he's going to try to fill us in on exactly why we're flying again.
So we got another flight before, right, and we learned a lot from that one, and the air brakes actuated, and we got a killer video from it, but we want to make them work a little harder this time. They're going to need to cut at least 100 meters off of the flight altitude this time, so they're going to be working really hard this time. That's what we're looking for.
Alright, well, we're here. We made it. About 5.5 hour drive. We left at 3 a.m. For those of you who know us, it probably sounds about right. For those of you that don't, the reason that we had to drive so far is because this is the only range that had a launch this weekend with the right kind of waiver for a rocket of this magnitude. The vehicle team is behind me doing their last minute preparations for the flight. It's about go time. We're going to find out just how good our air brakes really are.
on the right track.
I still did. Three. 4, 3, 2, 2.
Yeah.
What's that in meters?
I don't know.
Divide by 3.048.
13, 17. What'd you set it to?
1300.
7 meters.
Dude, that's a repeat.
Working extra hard.
Dude, oh my god, it works! It works, dude! It works!
It's such an amazing feeling. So many hours were put into that design. It's so rewarding to see it work.
Yeah, the other launch I couldn't be here. I had to hear about it over the phone. So being here in person, hearing the motor go off, and then going over and recovering it and hearing the DC motor whining in there, meaning that they moved, they actuated, it did what it was supposed to. It was really gratifying. I'm so excited to get a look at the data.
So basically over the summer, we tested our proof of concept of the air braking systems, and we know that they work. But the next step is going to be to actually optimize them. So we'll be going through every structural component of our air braking system and optimize them to minimize mass, which will make the overall launch vehicle more efficient.
I think a lot of the changes in the VDS are going to be happening on the control scheme front. We want to make sure that the sensors are precise enough that we can determine the state of the vehicle well enough to make informed decisions on when to brake and when not to brake, and for how much to brake. And so those are going to be most of the improvements.
This idea that blossomed basically the day after competition really became alive at that launch, and all the hard work that we put in over the summer, all the hours, all the, should we do it this way, should we do it that way, if we don't get this done this weekend, we won't be able to launch, all those kind of paid off. And seeing that from me being on the leadership side was really awesome in my eyes, because it showed that we had a really special team this year, and that anything else that NASA would throw at us, we would be able to take that on without a doubt. And I think this year is going to be really exciting.
She packed my bags last night.
How tall is it going to be?
It's probably 9 feet.
Wow, that'd be even bigger with the little rocket.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It ate its fruits and veggies, and it started off as a little 3-footer like yours over there, and then it just exercised and ate its fruits and veggies, and here it is, 9 feet.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how rockets become big.
You gotta make sure you lift though, like that's part of it.
That's the Amazon box. That's the Amazon box.
Yeah, what did you order in that Amazon box?
I got some
Probably little rocket seeds that we planted in the ground.
Did it come with the igniter? Did it grow with the igniter on?
Yeah, you gotta like plant it in and
Oh, so you gotta be like
water
really
it,
careful, I
make
guess,
sure
about
you
like
get
pulling
them
them
right.
out of the ground.
not just yet.
Wait, are they like a root type thing, like a potato, or are they like
Underwear.
yeah, it starts off as a
Underwear.
ground, so like
Underwear.